Hey, what's good, Econ fam? Mr. DeWitt back again with another EU instructional strategies breakdown. Today we'll be talking about demand shifters. Supposedly it's hard? Psh, follow me. Alright, so to start things off, truly the hardest thing about econ is the terminology. I mean, you got this word that means the same as this word and this word that means the same as this word. It's hard to keep up with. However, I got you. No need to fear. The first thing we're going to talk about dealing with shifters is shifters. They are also known as determinants. So when you hear determinants on your test or you see it on your test, don't freeze up. All it is it's talking about shifters. All right, so the very first thing in a shifter lesson, you have to know that shifts take place due to non-price related reasons. I'll say it again. Something other than price causes a demand curve to shift. Follow me. All right, so the very first thing we're going to talk about is income, the first shifter. Income, remember, income is the payment that individuals receive for providing some form of service, right? Usually we get paid income in terms of us providing our labor, right? So when we earn more money, we demand more stuff. We want more things. When we earn less money, we're not quite balling out of control, right? So therefore, we got to scale back a little bit. Our demand decreases. Now, in talking about these shifters, tip of the day. This is the tip of the day. Right. This is my right hand. Right is always, always, always increase. Get it? Always increase. Left. Left is always decrease. It's just like a number line. Left is decreasing. When demand decreases, curve shifts left. Whenever demand increases, curve shifts right. So stay with me. All right, so see here we have the first shifter, income. Let's look at this scenario. Suppose Erica's income increases. She makes more money. How does that change her demand for a ribeye steak? First thing we need to look at is she's making more money. So therefore, what is she? What is Erica? Say it with me, loud and proud. She is balling. All right, so a little bit of lameness, but sometimes we need that in econ. Since she is making more money, she is demanding more stuff. She wants to buy more stuff. So therefore, her demand curve will increase. Increase is always to the right. So the demand curve will shift to the right. All right, so the opposite situation, still sticking with income. Suppose incomes decrease, people make less money. How does that change the demand for ribeye steaks? So think about it. People make less money, they have less income. That means they're going to demand less steaks. So what's going to happen to our demand curve? It's going to shift to the left. Remember, left means decrease. So a leftward shift would occur. All right, so now it's time for our second shifter, consumer taste and preferences. Now, consumer taste and preferences, it's a little bit long, so let's shorten it up. Basically, we're talking about fads or popularity. So how popular a good or service is versus how unpopular it is. So the first thing, let's go ahead and look at the scenario. Suppose a report surfaces stating that a new study shows that the consumption of 6 to 10 ounces of steak per month can increase life expectancy by as much as 10 years, adding 10 years to your life. How does that change demand for ribeye steaks? Well, what's going to happen to the popularity of ribeyes if it can put 10 years on your life? Therefore, more people are going to buy ribeye steaks, which will lead to a what directional shift? You guessed it, shifting it to the right. All right, so on the flip side, still sticking with consumer taste and preferences. Remember, fads or popularity, how popular a good or service is versus how unpopular it is. If it becomes more popular, of course, the demand is going to increase. If it becomes less popular, of course, the demand is going to decrease. So let's take a look at the next scenario. Animal rights activists have begun to run ads specifically shedding light on inhumane treatment of cattle. Their movement has gained significant traction. What would happen to the demand for ribeye steaks? So think about this. You got a animals rights group that is protesting. They're trying to come about or bring attention to their cause regarding the inhumane treatment of cattle. Where do ribeye steaks come from? Cattle. So therefore, what's going to happen to the demand of ribeye steaks? You guessed it, it will decrease because they're going to become less popular. People are not going to eat as many steaks because it's not popular to do so. Next shifter, related goods. This is one that students sometimes struggle with at the beginning. However, it's going to get fresher and it's going to become kind of simple for you. All right, so related goods, it involves two categories. Complements, not complement with the I, complement with the E. Complement with the I means, hey, those are nice clothes you have on. Complement with the E is, hey, that's a great shirt and it goes well with those shoes. So it is always complement with the E. So complement with the E, we're talking about goods that go together. Peanut butter, jelly, milk, cereal. Yeah, you got it. The next thing, substitutes. Substitutes is the other element of related goods. A substitute good is a good that takes the place of another good. So if you have a picnic, you are going to put meat on the grill. You have a few options. Suppose you want hot dogs. Hot dogs are kind of pricey. What can you buy instead? You can buy hamburgers. So therefore, those are substitute goods. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this scenario here. Suppose that high-end steak sauce, which usually sells for $25 per bottle, has been reduced to $5. How will this affect the demand for ribeye steaks? So if it usually sells for $25 and it's on sale today for $5, more people are going to buy this steak sauce because they're getting a great deal, which means if more people are buying the steak sauce, more people are presumably going to buy steaks. So therefore, ribeye steaks, how will this affect the demand? The demand curve will shift to the right, and the demand will increase. All right, so let's look at, still talking about related goods. We're going to talk about a substitute situation now. Look at that shrimp. Jesus. All right, so let's look at our scenario. Suppose that Oscar's Meat House decides to reduce its gourmet gumbo shrimp by half price. What will happen to the demand for ribeye steaks? So anytime, this is my second tip of the day. You might want to write this down. Remember, the first tip was the right and left directional spiel that I gave you. Second tip of the day. Whenever you read a scenario and it discusses two items or two goods, you need to ask yourself, how are these two goods related? They're 9 times out of 10, they're either going to be substitutes or they're going to be complements of one another. So you need to figure that out first. In this situation, so more people are buying shrimp. How is that going to impact the demand for ribeye steaks? If more people are buying shrimp, then less people are buying ribeye steaks. So therefore, the demand curve will shift to the left. All right, so back again, consumer expectations. Let's talk about the last shifter here. So consumer expectations, whenever we expect something to happen, that means that it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen later, but that too affects the demand curve. Whenever we know something is going to happen, it's going to shift the demand curve one way or the other right now. So let's take a look at our scenario. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, and I hope you guys are being safe, practicing social distancing, staying at home. Hopefully you're at home watching me right now. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, farmers begin to float the idea that they may have to discard their beef supply in the coming month. When? In the coming month. So how would this situation impact the current day demand for ribeye steaks? So if you think about this, if consumers know that ribeye steaks or beef in general will not be there, or the possibility of beef not being there later may exist, we're going to buy more of it right now. So how does that affect the demand, current day demand? Demand will increase because we don't know if steaks are going to be there or not. So therefore, the curve will shift to the right. All right, so I hope this helped you with shifters. If you benefited from this video, please make sure you hit the comment, like, subscribe button down low. Until next time, Mr. DeWitt signing off. Peace.